Hello, today we're going to go through some examples of arithmetic with decimals. Now, just like before, it's easy to write them in this form to do the addition. The biggest thing here is to line up your decimals. So your decimal and your answer will be on that same line. Now we start from the right. 4 plus 3 is 7. 8 plus 7 is 15. Carry the 1. 1 plus 9 plus 6 is 16. Carry the 1. 1 plus 1 is 2 is 26 to give us our final answer. Subtraction is the same idea. When we write it out, make sure to line up your decimals. Okay. So again, I want these in a line. Now, if you put a 0 here as a placeholder. Start from the right. 3 minus 0 is 3. 5 minus 8 can't do, so we have to borrow. So we borrow from the 2, making it a 1, making the 5 a 15. So 15 minus 8 is 7. Then 11 minus 5 is 6. Here we have another subtraction. We have 16 minus 0.653. Now the 16, the decimal place comes right after the 6. And we're going to add 3 zeros as placeholders. Now you need to add them here in order to do the subtraction correctly. So we can't do 0 minus 3. We can't borrow from the 0, so we have to go all the way over to the 6. We're going to borrow from the 6. The 6 is going to become a 5, making this a 10. Then we borrow from the 10, making it a 9, and this a 10. Borrow from the 10, making it a 9, and this a 10. So now we can actually do the subtraction. 10 minus 3 is 7. 9 minus 5 is 4. 9 minus 6 is 3, our decimal. And then 15 minus 0 is 15. And the decimals are all lined up. Now when it comes to multiplication, we do the multiplication ignoring the decimals and then worry about the decimals at the end. So we're going to look at 147 times 52. We start with the 2, and we're going to multiply the 2 times the 147. So 2 times 7 is 14. Carry the 1. 2 times 4 is 8, plus 1 is 9, and 2 times 1 is 2. Now before going to the next row, we're going to need to cross off our carryovers so we don't accidentally reuse them, and we need a placeholder 0. Now we look at multiplying the 5 through. 5 times 7 is 35, carry the 3. 5 times 4 is 20, plus 3 is 23, carry the 2. 5 times 1 plus 2 is 7. And then we add these together. 4, 14, carry the 1, 6, and 7. Now that we have the multiplication done, we can look at our decimals. We have 1 decimal place here, and 2 decimal places here. So 2 plus 1 is 3, which means we need 3 decimal places here. So our final answer is 7.644. All right, now let's do a little bit more complicated decimal multiplication. So we have 1,063, remember, ignore the decimals to the end, times 204. Those extra zeros at the front of the 204 aren't going to make a difference. 0 times anything is just 0. But the ones in the middle will have an effect. So we start with the 4. 4 times 3 is 12. Carry the 1. 4 times 6 is 24. Plus 1 is 25. Carry the 2. 4 times 0 is 0. Plus 2 is 2. And 4 times 1 is 4. Now we're going to go to the next row, so cross over previous carryovers. And then we have a 0 as a placeholder. But we're multiplying 0 times 1,063. So that whole row would just be 0, 0, 0. Okay? So then we move on to the next row. We need 2 placeholders. Okay? Each row you would add a placeholder. Okay? So 1 for the first row, 2 for the second row. And we're going to multiply through by 2. So 2 times 1,063. 2 times 3 is 6. 2 times 6 is 12. Carry the 1. 2 times 0 is 0 plus 1. And 2 times 1. Now we can add them. So we get 2, 5, 8, 6, 1, and 2. Now that we have that part done, we can look at our decimals. Here we have 3, and here we have 4. 3 plus 4 is 7. So we need 7 decimals in our final answer. So we have 3, 6, we need one more, and this would be our final answer. Now let's do a couple examples of division. Here we have 8 going into 15.7. 8 goes into 15 once. 1 times 8 is 8. Subtract and we get 7. Our decimal is going to line up again. Okay. Bring your 7 down. 8 into 77 goes 9 times. 9 times 8 is 72. Subtract and we get 5. Now we're going to add zeros as needed. Bring the 0 down. 8 into 50 goes 6 times. 6 times 8 is 48. Subtract, get 2. Bring a 0 down. 8 into 20 is twice. 2 times 8 is 16. Subtract and we get 4. Let's do one more 0. Bring it down. 8 into 40 goes 5 times. 5 times 8 is 40. Subtract this, and we will get 0. So we get an answer of 1.9625. But I've made note in the course that we should always round to the nearest hundredth. So we're going to round this to 1.96 for our final answer. So again, we're going to round to the nearest hundredth if I've indicated it, or when in doubt, okay, unless I otherwise state a specific rounding. Right, now for a little bit harder of a division. Now here we have a decimal in the divisor. We do not like decimals in the divisor, so we have to adjust this. So we're going to move it 3 decimal places. So we're actually going to divide 19,000 divided by 15. Again, we needed 3 decimals here, so we had to move the decimal place 3 times in the 19 as well. So we're going to divide 15 into 19,000. Now 15 goes into 19 once. 1 times 15 is 15. Subtract and we get 4. Bring the 0 down. 15 goes into 4 twice. 2 times 15 is 30. Subtract, we get 10. Bring the 0 down. 15 into 100 goes 6 times. 6 times 15 is 90. Subtract, we get 10. And you'll notice, if we keep going, that this is just going to keep repeating. So we can stop there and realize that it's just going to be decimal 666 and so on repeated. Right? But we want to round to the nearest hundredth, so the final answer would be 1,266.67.